There was an incident involving yourself and Gabriel, which led to a penalty. Can you explain what happened there?
I think everyone's seen it. I just punched his head, so I don't know if there's any other way to describing it. Nowadays in football, with the VAR, and I think there's a bit of a different approach now to the challenges like that.
I think definitely the last 3 games we've been back to our best, back to our best way of playing. We're fluid, we're dynamic, and you can see the movements, the rotations, everything looks good. So we need to continue like this. We played 3 good games, but we know in this league it's not enough. We have a big game on Wednesday, Manchester United, so we're going to be ready for that and look to do the same thing.
Harsh result today. Is it more frustration for the slow start, especially?
No, we have big frustration when you lost at home. I think that it can happen. Many things in the first half, many things that without very clear chances we were losing 2-5 was hard. It's true that I have to review.
We played so well, started the game, being so dominant, so efficient in front of goal, and scored 3 very early goals, and then they score 1 immediately after our kickoff. We give a free kick away, score another one, then it's the game on, and we have to manage the game. I think we did that really well. We created some other big chances in general. The last 2 away games, they were really tricky against Sporting and West Ham, and scored 10 goals. That's a big one.
10 goals in a couple of games, that's pretty impressive. And there we were wondering, actually, as we watched the game, whether Fabianski definitely fouled Gabriel or not. I think he cleared that one up for us.
Yeah, and I was thinking it was a harsh decision, but now he's just blown that right out of the water.
Exactly.
Cheers, Lucas.
Overall, though, David, from your perspective, as a former Arsenal man, how pleased were you with what you saw today?
Well, not just today, it's the whole week. It's been fantastic. It's been a great reaction. And like Mikel said, they had a difficult game in midweek in the Champions League, and then this normally away at West Ham can be tricky, but they put on a great show today, and they showed a lot of confidence as well. They had a lot of top-class football.
They did. 5 different goal scorers, Jermaine. They're spreading the goals around. It's 13 goals across a week. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that, but obviously really efficient in front of goal. 5 different goal scorers, so everyone playing their part. But I just felt like today was like a masterclass. The way they moved the ball around. The chance they created, the set pieces, the organisation, and then when they got the chances, they were ruthless, and if they continue like that, then, you never know what they can achieve. But today, every player played their part. It was a brilliant performance.
And they were on point from the start with that set piece. And they're very good at set pieces.
They are.
28 from the beginning of last season. And this was another example of just how good they are.
And they ain't by luck. There's a lot of preparation goes into all these. You'll see there's a little blocker by Timber on the near post guy, and that allows Gabriel to get a free header on it. And Gabriel's timing is brilliant. There's obviously signals that are going on from Saka and as to when to move across the goal, and they all try and move across the face of the goal, and then they make it so hard for the goalkeeper.
How would a goalkeeper deal with that situation?
You can't do anything because the ball in is not your ball to go and claim. It's a low ball with pace, and when you get little flicks on it like that, it's so difficult to defend.
How good was the goal?
Obviously, Gabriel's always the target. So when you work on the set pieces, how do we get him free? And I mean, for West Ham, you're probably looking at it thinking, like, how can he make first contact? He's so effective, in both boxes. How can he make first contact? But it's because of the movement and the blocks. And to be fair to him, when he gets there, he normally finishes. He normally scores.
There was a shot that it showed because Antonio was picking him up at the back post, and then Gabriel went one way, and then Antonio tried to go around the other way, and there was too many players in front. So it's all about blocking people off, but without making it so obvious that the referee gives a foul.
Yeah. Well, there was another goal that impressed you, the one that took it to 4-0. We would love to show you all of them, but I don't think we can get straight through them. But tell us why you like this one so much.
Yeah, because Arsenal get the ball back, and straight away they're on the counter-attack. And Trossard there, that ball with his left foot is brilliant. The defender can do a little bit better, but I just love the finish of Havertz there. He just lifts it over Fabianski's leg. And normally the players or strikers will normally hit that along the ground, and it'll become an easier foot save, but the fact that he lifts it is a brilliant finish.
I think that, for me, that's one of the hardest chances. When you're running through on goal and you're running a straight line and that you can't really see the goal. All you can see is the goalkeeper, but to stay composed and just lift it a little bit over the goalkeeper's legs, it's a brilliant finish.
Yeah, overall, the goals were great. Penalties were taken. Saka handed the ball to Odegaard. Odegaard handed the ball to Saka. What's that all about, Jermaine?
It's too friendly these days.
Just too nice.
Too nice.
OK, well, they are nice, but they got the job done.
Yes.
They're second in the Premier League table. How big is this result in the context of the fact that Liverpool and City play each other on Sunday?
Yeah, it just adds a little bit more pressure onto Liverpool and City. But when you look at that game, it's going to be a great game to watch, I'm sure. But Arsenal have done their job now. They can sit back, they can watch it. They're going to get an extra day recovery than Man United, because Man United's coming up on Wednesday.
Big game.
Yeah, you know, so they'll be watching that. And when I look at the league table, I'm thinking a City win puts the cat amongst the pigeons again, you know, and it's just dragging Liverpool a little bit closer.
OK. As for West Ham, what did you make of their performance today? I think the fans were hoping they would build on that impressive Monday night win against Newcastle, but Arsenal were just too good in the end. Yeah,
because against Newcastle, it's a difficult place to go. And obviously they went there and won, which was a good win, so you'd like to think they would sort of like spring from that. But I thought today was, everything they did was too slow. I just don't think the team's dynamic enough. I just thought Arsenal I mentioned before, like a masterclass, they couldn't really get close to Arsenal. They only started playing really start having a go when it was 4-0 down. You know, you can't wait until you concede 4 goals or 5 goals to really go and press people and do probably the other side of the game that people don't want to talk about, like especially being at home. You know, half of the stadium was empty.
Well, they put in the hard yards, didn't they? On Monday, they ran more than they have this whole season. So I thought maybe they'd build on that.
Yeah, of course. And there's no excuses. You can't say, oh, we're tired, because other teams that do it. The top teams do it every season. You know, the amount of games that teams played. So, but it weren't good at all.
Bukayo, well done. Great performance overall, but how important were those first 35 minutes? Because it was such a strong start from Arsenal.
Yeah, it was a very, very strong start, and we remember we played similar like this last year, so we knew we wanted to start strong, and we definitely did that.
And before I come into your goal, I want to talk about your assists. You reached 10 assists this season, more than last season. How has it been for you to develop this part of your game?
Well, I'm just constantly looking to improve and create and score goals for this team. And yeah, I'm doing that right now, and I'm enjoying my football. I'm playing with confidence, so I want to continue like this.
How much have you been enjoying? Because, of course, you're an attacking player. Of course, you prefer to score goals. But how much pleasure are you taking from these assists? Yeah,
I'm taking a lot of pleasure. I like to score and create, but the biggest pleasure is winning and getting 3 points on the board. So I'm very happy today.
And talking about assists, it was a nice moment when you gave the ball to Odegaard for his penalty, and then he gave it back to you. How was that moment?
No, it was nice. Martin's a top player. He's been playing so good since he's come back, and he wanted to take the penalty to score today, and I'm more than happy to give him the ball because he always gives me the ball. So we have a good connection, and like I said, let's just keep this form going.
Yes, the connection is on and off the pitch then.
Yeah, on and off the pitch, yeah.
And for your goal, of course, it is a priority for you to score goals, but how have you been feeling with the movements the team has been making and the connections, the link-ups back with Odegaard?
Yeah, I think definitely the last 3 games we've been back to our best, back to our best way of playing. We're fluid, we're dynamic, and you can see the movements, the rotations, everything looks good. So we need to continue like this. You know, we played 3 good games, but we know in this league it's not enough. We have a big game on Wednesday, Manchester United, so we're going to be ready for that and look to do the same thing.
Well done then. You are player of the match. Congratulations, Bukayo.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you. What a week Arsenal are having. 5 goals in this game against West Ham, 5 goals against Sporting in midweek, the 3 goals against Nottingham Forest last weekend. And Bukayo Saka is having a fantastic season for Arsenal. It's 10 assists, as Natalie mentioned in the interview there. The record is 20. That was Thierry Henry, and Kevin De Bruyne has done it as well.
Good company.
So he's halfway there already. He's not just bettered his own stats from last season. He's on his way to a Premier League record, potentially.
And as well, he's on his way with a long period of the season without his partner in crime in Odegaard. It's incredible stats. He's just playing with confidence. The smile on his face when he speaks about Man United now, he's already speaking about that Man United. He's always up for the challenge. At such a still tender age, he's so experienced man in that dressing room. I mean, he's making that position his own. It's incredible to be that involved at this stage of the season, to stay consistently fit as well. So you got to give credit to him, what they do with himself off the field, because on the field, he just blesses it completely, Jamie. It's incredible to see.
What a role model. He's an incredible role model, so intelligent, eloquent, knows the game inside out. He just comes across as a fine young man. It must be a dream for any kind of manager that wants to, whether it's the England manager or obviously Arsenal. And the job that he's doing and the improvements that he's making every single day are just frightening. You know, the level he's getting to. Because he can score goals, he can make goals, he's got great desire, he runs in behind. He's so difficult to defend against. And you can see I think everybody, Arsenal struggled without Odegaard, but when Odegaard comes back in, that connection, Theo, is just absolutely perfect.
But they struggled, but he just took leadership and ownership and thinking, right, we've got our main player out, I will take this team now and trying to make sure we stay at a level. They weren't quite at the level of scoring all these goals, which Odegaard obviously enhances that. But again, he took leadership, considering how age he is right now.
Positioning, because obviously you played as predominantly a right-sided right winger. Do you feel that it might have improved you? Because with Bukayo, he started as a left-back, it seemed, and then he went to left wing, and then obviously Mikel
improved me.
Improved you as a...
I hear what you're saying.
And shoot, you'd have got more goals, I mean. That's
I mean, I scored quite a lot for Arsenal, over 180, but which was pretty good from the right.
We know that. Yeah, exactly. I know you could play, mate. Don't worry about it.
No. To be honest, it was a position at times. It was, Nasri was out on the left-hand side. We had Olivier Giroud, a different stature of forward, Ron van Persie. I was used to playing on the right because I loved, like Bukayo there, he loves assists. I did like that as well. I got even more joy out of that at times, to be involved in the goals. But yes, I hear your point. That was a finish I actually really liked, particularly from the left-hand side. I followed Michael Owen Thierry Henry very closely, inside step. And I never played that much on the left, but it was one of those positions where I actually felt I could be up front as well. There was periods when I did, but
he's always been a recognised talent, Bukayo Saka. If I ever have heard any criticism of him, it's been about consistency, about maybe not delivering in the bigger games. It's maybe been about just growing into his role. All of that seems to be coming for him this season particularly.
And as well, just how easy he puts the penalties away. I know maybe Fabianski will be a little bit disappointed in not getting it, but everything that's happened to him in his career up until now, to still be in a position to think, look, that's fine, I can deal with this, it's no problem. Just shows that he's very mature at such a young age still, but very experienced, and that's really, really good to see.
He had that bit of adversity, but he comes back from it stronger. And he said now, because some players would have been frightened to take another penalty again in their life, it hasn't stopped him. And he's a magnificent footballer, and he's a joy to watch.
We are joined now by Jurrien Timber, who joins us down the line from the London Stadium. Thank you so much for your time talking to us today. That was a thoroughly entertaining game to watch. How was it to play in?
It was fun to play in. I think we scored a lot of goals, and it's always fun to score a lot of goals. Until the moment that they scored twice. But I think we picked it up really well, and the second half we killed the game.
That first, half an hour or so was just fantastic. Did it feel like that? Did you feel that you were putting on a really complete performance?
Yeah, obviously we felt really strong. I think the first goal was a set piece, which Gabriel, again, amazing. I think we showed some really great football, and we're doing that for the last 3 games already. So we just need to try to keep this momentum going, because we have a big game coming up against United.
Jurrien, it's Theo here. I just wanted to say, you talk about big games, and I just want to actually reflect on yourself right now, because of course you had a very serious injury. I can really relate to obviously the ACL, and how you've come back, and not just the way you perform, but physically to look after yourself in this moment, because it's a very hard injury to come back from. You look like you've not been away from the game at all.
Just the people around me pushing me always. I always say you're as good as the people around you. So those are the most important people in my life right now, and they help me to get where I am right now. And just trying to push, keep going. To be honest, the players around me are so good that it makes it easy as well to play for me. But I feel good, I feel nice, I feel fit, and that's the most important thing for me right now.
Jamie Redknapp, congratulations on a great win. I talk about your performance as well. I thought you were excellent today. Left back, right back, you got that versatility. It seems to be so important for this Arsenal side, and everybody can fill in. Even if you get a couple of injuries, it doesn't seem to affect the team too much.
No, I think that's a good thing. I think we have a big squad with a lot of good players, and I think we showed that last week and this week again with different players in the starting lineup. We just have to keep going like this.
Though, to ask you a question, you just mentioned about the set piece there and the first goal. And when you were setting up with Bukayo Saka taking the corner, Gabriel came up to you and he said a few things. And I watched where your position you took up just behind the 6-yard box. And then you made a run to just do a little slight nudge on Paquetá just to stop him heading the ball so that the ball could, obviously, it was a great flight for Gabriel to score. Did he tell you that, or was that something that was your job?
I can't tell you that.
Yeah. Come on. Listen, the game's over now. You've got to tell us your secrets.
No, I can't tell it, but it felt a little bit like an assist, to be fair.
You're going to get? Are you claiming an assist for that?
I helped him a bit with that, no, but it was a good execution. But it's not the first time, I think, this season or last season. We scored a lot of nice goals from set pieces, and yeah, not only Gabi did it again, but the whole team showed they were really good at set pieces. Yeah, and that is the thing with set pieces, why you're so good, because it's not just about one person attacking the ball, it's a real team effort. Everybody has their own roles in scoring those goals, and obviously the set piece coach, how much goes into that every day in training? How often do you spend on making sure that the set pieces and all the details are right? A lot, of course, but to be fair, we have so many games that on the other side, you don't have a lot of time to train that. But I think when we train it, we're really focused and very detailed when we train it.
Jurien, obviously you're all extremely focused. Bukayo Saka has told us, you're looking ahead to the Manchester United game in midweek. You've already mentioned it. I'm sure Mikel Arteta will say the same thing when he's interviewed later on. But also you are focused on this title race, and you know that Liverpool and Manchester City are playing tomorrow. So does that make today's win even more important? It was important already, but does it add a little bit more to it?
No, what you said, it's important already. To be fair, I think also for Man City and Liverpool, every weekend game, every Premier League game is hard. And yeah, tomorrow we play each other. I will watch the game, rest on the couch at home, and I'll be prepared for Wednesday against United.
Yeah, all you can do is get your own 3 points and then hope the rest of the weekend pans out as you want.
That's it.
Thank you so much for joining us. Good to talk to you.
Thanks, guys. Ciao, ciao.
Well played.
Thank you.
Well done.
Interesting to hear him talk about the set pieces, Jamie.
Yeah, he didn't give away too much.
No,
I wasn't expecting that answer.
Because
no, exactly.
They might well use something similar at a different stage in the season. But you'd imagine other clubs have got their own coaches watching how Arsenal's set up.
Yeah,
but it's interesting how much attention to detail is paid to set pieces.
Kelly.
And of course, Arsenal went to great lengths to bring in Nicholas over from Brentford.
Yeah, and I just take it back to sort of my era where set pieces would be something that maybe you spent a little bit of time on a Friday. Yeah. It was cold. You didn't have the ability of all the stats and the TVs where you can stop it and do it in a screen or in a classroom or tactics room like the players have now. A lot of the time, it's freezing cold, Gaffer. Look, we'll be all right. He's marking him. That's your man, and you can just defend like that. Whereas now the details and the set piece coaches, I have to be honest. 10 years ago, I'd have rolled my eyes at it and think that's never going to happen.
2 seasons ago, you'd have rolled your eyes at it.
But now, these guys, and especially him, he's unbelievable at his job. And especially when you're bringing in different corners, different free kicks, and then you start to get success, then everyone believes in it. Now, every manager, every owner wants one. Every club is looking for who is the next guy. And you've not got to play the game. You just have to see the game in patterns and realising where spaces are, if you've got the right delivery. But it's all right having the best set-piece coach in the world. You still have to have people that can, 1, deliver the ball at the right place, into the right place, and 2, attack the ball. And that's what Arsenal have in Gabriel. And they all have their jobs, but he is a monster in the box. He's so difficult to stop because he's aggressive, he's big, and he wants to get on the end of it. And it's so hard for teams to stop, Theo, isn't it?
Do you know what, now they're just in a habit. Repetition is so important. Most of the time players will do shooting drills all the time, but I feel like these guys will go off and do set pieces together because it's so important for them, and it's the worry now they create and the uncertainty in the crowd as well. You can just feel it, the pressure that they allow, and tonight it just showed how important it was, and not just tonight, but it's going to be all season. Gabriel is an absolute
what they've got,
soldier
Theo,
right now.
I don't know if you agree with this. When I see teams now, they have every team on the back foot, because straight away what they did to Tottenham with set pieces and what they've done to West, you end up reacting off of them rather than thinking, OK, we're going to protect this area because when Arsenal scored their first goal, everyone went to the back post. That's their thing. But if you actually just left them there, nobody's going to score from there. And if you stood in your area where you go, OK, we're going to dominate, we're big and we're going to attack that ball, I don't think you'd have too much of a problem. But straight away, they've got everybody thinking. We spoke when there was a little... I asked Jurien the question because there was a little bit of dialogue with Gabriel.
Can you highlight him on the... so we can see the move that you're talking about?
This was just before, Kelly, and you could see there that Bukayo and Odegaard, he comes up and says, right, this is going to be your job, Jurien. You have to then make sure you get across the near post and do do that little... Because it has to be something that's very subtle, Kelly. Now, we get it onto the touch screen now. You can see him there. He knows what his job is, so I'm going to just get him here, right? So there he is. There's number 12, Jurien Timber. He knows now that his job is to get to Paquetá, who's doing that front post, and just make sure that he can do a little bit of a job on him. Now, the rest of the players, you can see there, you've got Havertz, he's with Emerson. You've got Antonio, who's obviously really important in this with number 6, and then you've got Saliba there, who's with Toledo, I think. So that's an area where you have to make sure that you mark. But the one player in all of this that you have to get right is Gabriel. And I think getting Antonio to mark him is a mistake, because I don't like seeing forwards. Very rarely are they good enough to stop him. And he never gets close. Everybody else, as you can see it, is they're tight, they've got their hands on the player, but Antonio never really gets close enough to him. Now you can see, right now, he probably thinks, Antonio, I'm in a really good position, I got him. But it's like bumper cars, this area here. You've got Calafiori there, and you've got Wan-Bissaka. Now, what he's going to do really cleverly, Gabriel, is just make that run there. I hope you can see that. Is that all right?
Yeah, it works.
It's all right. But he's just going to make another dart, and then that collision comes with Antonio, and then he's in that space there, exactly where he wants to be, to get a free header on goal. Then you're asking this man to get the delivery right. Saliba is going to get himself onto Fabianski and just make himself a bit of a nuisance there. The timing has to be perfect as well. You can see that Jurien Timber's on the way. He's going to wait for that ball to come in and just get his timing, just so he can just give a little nudge to Paquetá. And as he does that, the ball comes in. There's your little nudge. There's that space that's been created because Antonio doesn't do it right. And that's the big problem.
I mean, here, Jamie, as well, you talk about timing, and the timing of West Ham is completely... They're just reacting. No one's really looking at the ball. You just go back slightly. Soler here, he gets.
Yeah, I take that.
You just watch Wan-Bissaka. His right foot steps on his toe, and he's disrupted him.
Yeah,
but
just here.
Just here. Sorry. You can just see clearly here if I play. He just steps on his toe, and he apologises. He looks, and now all of a sudden he has no idea where he is in the field. And Calafiori creates a shadow. Gabriel goes behind him, and he's creating a shadow in front of him to be that protective barrier. And Antonio still hasn't actually got eyes on the ball. It's too late, and it's a fantastic finish.
Can I ask what Mikel Antonio is supposed to do there when there's a mob of players between him and Gabriel?
He's the only one, Kelly, that I would say. I'm going to just let it run for a second. It is hard, but everybody else you can see Emerson with Havertz touch tight. You can see Wan-Bissaka with Calafiori touch tight. You can see Toledo with Saliba touch tight. The only one that isn't is Antonio and Gabriel. There's a 3-yard space. So all that Gabriel is thinking, right, is I've got you now. I've got you exactly where I want you. I'm going to get myself round the back here and find myself into this area because I know this collision is going to happen in this area or if not there. And when I said a minute ago about maybe, because if West Ham were to say, OK, let's put everybody here and say that ball has to come in, I actually think they'd deal better with it. But by putting everyone there, no one's scoring here. Nobody has ever scored a header from there with that many people. It just doesn't happen. But once you get them all running across you, but if West Ham actually were brave enough to say, right, you're going to come into our area, I've got good people in this area to make sure that I can head it away, sometimes you're better off doing that because all you're doing is reacting and you're scared of what Arsenal, the questions they keep asking of you. So I think it's almost you're creating the problem for themselves as well, and that's why Arsenal do this, because they want to go, right, OK, you come and play us at our game, and then once Gabriel does it, Kelly, you can see here, and again, Antonio, he's now in big trouble, but you can see everybody else has their man except Antonio, and he gets away, and look at that space that opens up for him. It's great from Arsenal, but I think, as Theo rightly says, West Ham could have done a lot better.
But as well, you say about if West Ham moved, I feel like Arsenal are now in a space where they've got another set piece for that. But if people are in that position, we've got something else for that. They're always keeping you guessing, but incredible.
But I think teams are terrified now. Yeah. They are because of the height and everything. But like I said, the best set piece coach in the world, you've got to have people that attack the ball and you've got to have good delivery.
20 goals from corners for Arsenal since the start of last season, which is 5 more
There you go.
than any other team.
And
It's working
he is the
for them.
best right now in the Premier League at attacking it. And how many has he got? Do you know, Kelly? I'm going to ask you a question.
Nope.
Headers?
Wait, give me about 10 seconds and someone will tell me.
Okay, John will tell us. OK. And so 2-0, Theo. This is good wing play. You loved this, didn't you?
I do love this. I talk about the connections with the wingers and the time on the ball that Martin Odegaard gets, but it's just the run as well. If you just go back slightly, you see Havertz.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
You have to hold it. You have to take it down. A bit more experience with me of this, but yeah, comes out here. Havertz, you can just, if you play now, you see him just drag.
Yeah. Oh, whoa, Theo, what's going on here? That's a big old circle. That's all right. That's OK. That's OK. Anyway, point to him. We know
here
where
we
he
go.
is.
So
There's
Havertz, don't worry about it. So Havertz, he comes out to space, but you will want to see Kilman come out and engage. But because they've put so much pressure on West Ham's defence, it's allowed here Saka to be now where he's does his thing and these connections we talk about. But I want to just single out, actually, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players, West Ham here. All of them, you'll see it clearly shortly, are all fixated to Martin Odegaard. No one's aware of any runners. And as a written rule for fullbacks, and I wasn't a fullback, but you need to disrupt Saka now. You need to disrupt him because it's a one.
When you say disrupt him, what do you mean? Like almost. Like,
I mean,
get
you're
your
going to come
arm
here. I'm
across
going to
him,
step in front of you now.
Get your arm across him.
Exactly
yeah, it's too easy because Somerville and Emerson, they just let him run.
They let him run, and no one's watching the ball. And the first touch off the thigh, it's cushion. It's a training ground. It's fantastic. It's brilliant. Martin Odegaard's pass. This is what we were saying before of what Arsenal have missed. Already, he noticed there, Martin Odegaard, he did a little scan just to see how much space he has in the ball.
Can you stop it there? So,
yeah,
like, from West Ham's point of view as well, Theo, right? When you play against certain teams, we spoke about how important Odegaard is. I feel there's only a few, and it's happened in a 10, 20-year period in the Premier League. Certain players have to be picked up in this area of the pitch. Now, when I see this, and I see, like, the most important player is there, and he has that space around him. It's like a force field. It's like, why doesn't anybody actually, Paquetá, turn your shoulder? There's the danger. Soler, come and get closer to him. Souček's got Declan Rice, but somebody has to get close to him because what he's capable of doing is picking a pass that's just going to unlock the door. He's that good. It just doesn't make any sense. And that's where West Ham in the first 25, 30 minutes were just miles too passive.
And as well, a difference to the way they played at Newcastle. Like I said, a great cushion, brilliant. Trossard's in the right area, right time, and it's an easy finish. It's a fantastic goal. But I just love the give and go. But this is what I was saying here, need to disrupt, not switch off, all switch off, fantastic pass. It just is so easy. They made it look so easy because to break down a back line of 7 as well, isn't, but Arsenal really did.
And Theo, you could definitely do this. I know, I saw you play.
Please make it do that big sparkly circle again.
This is great wing play.
It's great wing play because Emerson, he needs help. He needs help in this situation here. But already, we talked about West Ham, the amount of running they did against Newcastle. There was a lot of tired legs, particularly in the first half, I felt, with the confusion here. And Paquetá here comes in and if it plays, sorry.
That's it.
Here we go. It's a lazy leg, and it's made the referee's decision so quickly. But that's just what we're talking about. Bukayo Saka, he's so committed. As soon as you get players running, backtracking into the 18-yard box, it puts fears into defenders. And as well, you put out legs like that, you're always going to be causing penalties. So it's incredible. He can go both sides, Bukayo Saka. He's not one-dimensional. And I think that's the one thing about him as well. He keeps everyone guessing. He's just, at this moment in time, he's playing with so much confidence.
And then when it comes to the penalty, Odegaard and Saka have a little chat. It looks like Saka's going to take it, and then it's Odegaard who steps up to take it in the end. But we returned the compliment a little bit later on. But it's just interesting how they manage it between them. It's not two players wrestling over the ball. This is a grown-up conversation between two players who are more than capable of taking penalties.
You said it there. They're both more capable of doing it as well. It keeps them guessing with the goalkeeper as well. I mean, look, he tucks it away with ease. It's one of those where you get someone like Martin Odegaard on the score sheet, more and more confidence it breeds. But look, they're sharing the goals now. But it's obviously helping with Martin Odegaard back in the team.
I can't lie. It was lovely. Yeah, we're great. Wasn't that nice, sharing penalties? I find it really weird. I find it so strange. You know, if you're Martin Odegaard, you've scored one, why don't you want to go and take another one? because you've got, Saka was relatively lucky with his one. And if you've got one, you've got a feeling. It's like when you've scored a free kick and you go, I won't take this one. Well, you just scored one, take it again. Obviously, look, there's maybe more analysis, more data goes into it now. And there is everything I feel when I watch Arsenal play, there is a reason behind it. I don't quite know what that reason is. I'd love to find out. If we'd have spoken to Martin
Might just even be the
Odegaard.
element of unpredictability from Fabianski's point of view, maybe.
Or just been nice.
Do you know what? That's going to be the last option that any of us were going to get to there, wasn't it?
I've scored one. Yeah, you have a go. It's lovely. But that's not normal. When you talk about the Premier League and you've got to be, got to win ugly at times and every penalty that counts, they obviously feel that it's the right way to get the result. And by the way, it worked. So who am I to say?
And it worked for Havertz as well, who got the fourth goal for Arsenal. It was a blistering first, half an hour, wasn't it?
It really was. And as obviously West Ham disappointing losing the ball back Qatar, but Kilman maybe could do better, but this is where Havertz has improved, the calmness, the controlled manner, tucks away of ease. But you can see here, Paquetá loses the ball and they can't recover in time. And it's a fantastic ball from Trossard, but I just feel like Kilman perhaps could, you were saying before, out of shot, Jamie, we were saying that he could maybe run with Havertz, just to stay with him, because Havertz isn't the most gifted player physically, as in pace, I mean. So that's where you could maybe disrupt him, but look.
That's the last resort.
That is the last resort, but again, it's a fantastic finish. But as well, I want to point out maybe Lucas Fabianski's positioning here. You can, sorry if I just play on a little bit further, you can't quite see in the screen, but he's already stuck.
He's backpedaling already, isn't he?
Backpedaling already, but the ball's so lofted. He's already in a position where actually, if you keep an eye on where the ball bounces for the second time, where he is compared to where the ball lands up, he could maybe be on Havertz's toes to put a bit more disruption to himself. So look, a fantastic finish in that perspective, but obviously very disappointing for West Ham to concede a fourth.
And at that point, we thought, game over, it's just a question of how many Arsenal are going to win by, and this could potentially become really unpleasant from a West Ham point of view. But then there was just a glimmer of hope, Jamie.
Yeah. What I called him after? Wan-Bissaka.
Wan-Bissaka.
Well, he's got 2 in 2. He makes a great run here. The ball gets played into Soler, who turns really quickly and then plays a really good pass here. I mean, it doesn't even look like it's on, but it is. Slides it through Calafiori, and they don't mark well enough. You can see he gets his timing right. He doesn't see him, Trossard. Good pass and actually a really good finish. 4-1, we're thinking, well, at least it makes it slightly easier. The crowd are on the players' backs. It's not a place you really want to be when you're playing, when you're struggling there. And then all of a sudden you go, 4-1, let's get to half-time. And then 4-2 comes Theo.
Before this is one thing that, as a winger, at times, I always feel like, why am I in the 18-yard box doing their fullback's position, like doing their job?
Trossard,
I mean. I mean, at times we're always judged off scoring goals and that side of it going forward, but we're asking him now to get in the 18-yard box and do a fullback's job. And this is what we're talking about, the focus of Arsenal, maybe switching off. That's where I feel like Calafiori needs to take a bit of responsibility on his front and think, look, there's plenty of people there to deal with that. But Trossard being, so committed, yes, maybe just switches off, but I feel like it's not his role in that situation. It's happened to me before at times.
I remember, I've seen it. I've got to be honest, this is one of the best free kicks we've seen this season.
Fantastic,
Absolutely magnificent. And there's a number of reasons why. Let's just enjoy it. Let's show the first angle and just enjoy it, because he gets tremendous whip and dip in this, Emerson. It's beautiful. Look at the pace it goes in at there. In off the bar, I think they always look a little bit better as well.
And they sound great.
They do.
as well.
And the reason why is because you can see there are 3 guys there. You've got Havertz, Gabriel and Declan Rice. Now, I took free kicks and I'd always sort of try to figure out the wall and think, OK, can I get this up and down in time into that corner? But when I would see that, I would tend to think, right, OK, maybe I'll try and go even keeper's side, because he might then try to edge. But because he knows they're so big, he hasn't got to move across as much. He's going to trust that wall, because it's so hard to get up and down. You can see you've got, was that Odegaard doing the, what they call that role?
The draft excluder.
Draft excluder. So as he hits it, they're going to jump, but to still have the ability to get it up and down in time, it's beautiful. It really is. It's a great free kick. Oh, exquisite. What a goal.
Yeah, that was. I mean, you see Rare, it does take a slight step, but he still can't get there because
we're near it.
So
Look at it, top spin.
Precise, fantastic free kick. Yeah, I've seen you do that before as well. Absolutely.
Jamie, when you talk about the wall and you talk about how tall they are, and yes, the wall is there to cause a problem for the player taking the free kick and to protect the goalkeeper. Can you sometimes use the wall as a guide as well to kind of to steer the ball around?
Yeah, but guys, Kelly, it's really difficult to get that up and down and get that right trajectory, because so often we see players. Even the great Ronaldo took free kick, but he would see, I'm going to try and get it up, but then it can fly anywhere. But he just got that perfect. He has got a beautiful left foot, you know, and he has got that ability to do it. But that was a really, really well organised free kick, and just because of the three players that were there were so big, you have to be really brave to try and get it over the wall and do it. And he executed it perfectly.
So just while there was a little bit of hope for West Ham, when the energy levels in the ground had just raised themselves to maybe thinking they could get something from this game, it was squashed again. A second penalty decision. This one's a bit more debatable.
Yeah, well, we actually said, Theo, didn't we? Because we were like, just for the game, West Ham, right now, they've got to get in at 4-2, just to give yourself a sniff. You cannot, but as soon as this set piece comes, obviously a different setup as well. You've got Gabriel at the back post here, Antonio still, he doesn't want to look at the ball. Why would you look at the ball? You know, but he's not interested. He's trying to just look at him, trying to follow him. And again, he ends up getting himself free. But it was a bit...
Yeah, it was very different to, you know, a couple of weeks ago in the Champions League against Inter Milan, when someone actually did the same thing to Gabriel, but probably made more of an impact, actually. And I feel like it's one of those where now the referees are now in a situation where they've got to be careful, because this happens quite frequently. And if you just pause it here, sorry, if I just slow it down, if we can probably
just
play forward a little bit, sorry. Scrapes his face and doesn't get a clear connection, but it's very different to the one midweek in Champions League a couple of weeks ago. And Gary actually said it on comms, where actually Anthony Taylor took 6 or 7 seconds to make the decision. If someone gets punched in the face, it's not that long to think about it. As one of the top referees in the country, should be aware of straight away it's a penalty. But it's what the reaction that causes, and at times we see Mikel Arteta on the sideline actually probably influences referees' decisions at times, I will say. But look, I think Arsenal's reaction here has really made Anthony Taylor decision.
It took him, Gary Neville was right, it took him 6 seconds to decide, didn't it? I didn't like it, I've got to be honest, Kelly. I didn't think it was he dispatches it pretty well. I'm not comfortable with it, but I see why he's given it, you know, because we see, I think consistency is what people want, because we'll probably see a load of those over the weekend, and none of them, a lot of them won't get given, but that one he decides to give it. The truth is, he could have hit him, punched him, and broke his jaw. It's that, you know, you're coming out, the keeper's punching the ball.
So there's the potential.
There is a potential. So it is dangerous play to a certain extent, and you could see as he got up, he did definitely catch it. It was a bit of a graze, not enough for him probably to go off, but you know.
5-2 then. All done and dusted in the first half of that game. We are not all done and dusted, though. We will hear from the Arsenal boss next, Mikel Arteta.
Mikel, congratulations.
Thank you.
What is the manager thinking at the end of a first half with 7 goals? At least you were on the right side of the scoreline.
I was happier with the first 30 minutes than in the last 15, that's for sure, because we started incredibly well. So positive, so much energy, a lot of quality. We scored different goals. We were a real threat. And then when we scored the 4th one, immediately after we scored 1 goal, I think a very sloppy one. We take the kickoff backwards, lose it, unbelievable free kick, and then it's game on. So thanks God that we scored the 5th one. And that allowed us, obviously, in the second half to play a different game, to manage the game much more, to manage the tempo of the game much better. They were more aggressive, but overall, 10 goals in 2 games away from home. That's a big credit to the boys.
Not bad. I'm going to try to go back chronologically. So the first goal with Gabriel. Before the goal, he seemed to be talking to the players, kind of maybe calling the play. I wanted to understand more of the process.
You won't understand, I'm sorry.
Hey! not even a little, how they change the plays. How does it work?
No.
Nothing?
No, I can't, I'm sorry.
But is it down to the players? They have this freedom.
They take a lot of ownership on that, and they really believe, not only on corners, with the way we scored today on open play, the combinations that we had, the real threat, where it's threading behind, we're doing short combinations. Really, really impressive.
An easier one, the second goal. The movements. We've been talking about the movements for the past couple of matches, but is it textbook perfect movements, that second goal?
Yeah, it's that connection, obviously getting the players in the right positions, and then it's timing and execution, and they did it so well. The players on both sides, the players on weak side, so really good.
5 goals, but I wanted to talk about the assist maker, Saka, 10 assists this season. How has it been to develop this part of his game? Because he comes more and more complete. His game is just growing.
Well, a player that every game has to make something happen, you know, and that's something to reflect on the scoreline. And he's been really consistent, scoring, assisting, being always available as well for us, so really good.
4-0 up, and then West Ham scored twice. What do you feel it could have managed differently in those two goals?
Sometimes you can manage, but sometimes it's the quality of the opponent as well, and you have to respect that they have tremendous players up front. They can create from any situation. They do that, and then, yeah, momentum shifts. You can sense the energy in the stadium changing as well, so we were really, really good to score the 5th one.
Before the match, you said you wanted to get this win. Now you're second on the table, to watch more comfortably Manchester City play Liverpool. So big win in this sense as well, thinking about the title race.
Yes, to do our job, and we've done it today in a really convincing way as well. So every 3 days now we've been really strong, and then tomorrow, enjoy the match. Beautiful game of football.
Well done, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Quite nice for Mikel Arteta to sit and enjoy that game, having done the business for Arsenal this evening against West Ham. When you look at the top of the table, Arsenal in second place now. They're 2 points clear of Manchester City. They're 6 points off Liverpool, but that could change tomorrow, depending obviously on what happens in the game at Anfield. But there's a sense of satisfaction with Arsenal. Job done as far as they're concerned this weekend. Is there a best outcome for that game at Anfield for Arsenal?
Look, I feel with Arsenal and any particular club at this moment in time, they will just sit back and enjoy the game. They can't control it, of course they can't. But the outcome for me would have to be a draw. For the actual league itself, you would probably want to see Man City try and get back to the levels where we expect them to be. And I'm sure tomorrow is the game where they will expect that. But Arsenal in a good position right now. They're in a good place mentally as well, I think, is why you can just see there the goals they're scoring. They need to keep fit. Martin Odegaard, that's the one key player in this moment in time that, just like Jamie said, just fixes Arsenal's different options. He causes different problems, and he's so important for them to really establish themselves to be title contenders, because they just outscore when he plays. They score more goals.
We just see the goal differences all of a sudden change as well. Liverpool had a far superior goal difference to anybody else. All of a sudden with those goals today, it just gives you a little bit of a lift as well. They've got to keep asking the question, are Arsenal out of this title race? Of course they're not. They are right in it. They've got the players, they've got the experience. Obviously, they've not won the title, but they know how to go the distance in terms of making sure that they're going to be really difficult to beat. I mean, that game has become, obviously, a really big one, the next one. And I think that's probably what he's going to keep telling his players. That's what every player says when you're in a title race. Just take care of the next game. Obviously, Manchester United with Amorim coming in, that's going to bring different problems as well. They've got to make sure they're at it there. Fulham away, Everton, Palace, Ipswich, Brentford. They're games that, when you're playing well, you'll be chomping at a bit. You can't wait to get your teeth stuck into. But the Premier League, anything can still get thrown up. There are no easy games.
5 of those 6 are in the bottom half of the table, the only exception being Brentford, who are in 7th place as things stand. So Arsenal may have a little bit of breathing room as they head into that next round of fixtures, taking it right up to New Year's Day. But for West Ham, there's not been much room to breathe for them so far this season. Julen Lopetegui watched this game from the stands, and plenty of West Ham fans found they couldn't stand it any longer at 4-0 down. 5-2 the final score. We'll hear what the West Ham boss made of it next.
Julen, harsh result today. Is it more frustration for the slow start, especially?
No, we have big frustration when you lost at home. I think that it can happen. Many things in the first half, many things that without very clear chances we were losing 2-5 was hard. It's true that I have to review, but it's hard to say this now, but my review about how kind of rules we have to fulfill or not, because if the first goal is no fault with Paquetá, and if the second penalty is penalty, I have to review exactly what kind of contact is fault or no, because the first half, believe me, that is fault. There are one player that bump in the back of Paqueta on the only intention that he can't jump, and he has success. But and was the first goal for me was key. And after it's true that we can do better. We can do better. We have mistakes that we have to avoid above all others against this kind of team. And the second penalty, that's why I think that killed more or less the match. The second half, I think that our behavior was good. It was not easy to play the second half. I think that the team made a big effort and a big focus to stay in the match was difficult. But it's true that I have to say these things about that I have to review, because sometimes we prepare the matches and we don't know exactly what's fall or not. But believe me that the rules, they have to be the same for all of us. If not, it's not easy for us to translate to the players whenever we are working before in the set pieces, etc. So, okay.
These two accidents, how much do you feel it influenced the development of that first half, and also how much of a knock was for the players as well?
No, I think that it's tough to start losing in the first two actions without any clear situation. Start losing 3-0, so it was very tough, but it happened. And that's why in the second half we say to the players that we have to try to stay in the second half, to win the second half. I think that they did well, but it's true that the first is that we have to do better, for sure, but it's true that this kind of little or no little details that are very, very important. We ask before the match, Taylor, if this kind of action they are fall or not, because sometimes when I see this kind of block, I understand the block, I understand that is one of the things that I like in English football, but I think that there are one limit. This is not one block. This is only the intention one free player to go and to push in the back. He can't jump. For me it was very clear, but I repeat, maybe I am wrong.
Well, look, he wasn't happy with a lot of the decisions in that game, Julen Lopetegui. I'm not sure materially they would have affected the scoreline, which 5-2 in the end is a heavy defeat. And actually, when he was Wolves manager, Arsenal put 5 past his Wolves side in May 2023 as well. In terms of West Ham's season, in terms of Lopetegui's future, it was eased by that 2-0 win against Newcastle on Monday night. What do you think the damage is from this, given that it's Arsenal and given how Arsenal played in that first 30 minutes and the control they had in the second half?
I mean, we know Arsenal can do that to anybody. That's what they do. They did it in midweek. They've done it again today. It's the fact that they won against Newcastle has obviously given them a little bit more time. If they had lost that game, I think the pressure would have really hyped up this week. I think he is still in a position where he needs to win games quickly, because the pressure's going to mount. You know, when they decided to take him instead of David Moyes, who's done a really good job at the club, you need a manager to come in and get results. What I will say at the moment is still, I think they wanted a change of direction, maybe how they play, a style of play. It hasn't really changed. When you sort of look at West Ham, they still seem a team that are a little bit passive. They sit back, like when we looked at the second goal there, where everybody's got behind the ball. I don't think that's really what the West Ham fans want to see. That's something that has to change. If he picks up more results, that will obviously be the case. But I think all managers do need time. It's difficult. But when you're at a club like West Ham and you're following someone like David Moyes, they want to see a totally different style of football. And that really isn't happening or showing through as we see it at the moment.
They need time in order to, as you say, get their ideas into the players. But you often get that new manager balance. And the team that West Ham have got next is Leicester. Pre the appointment of Ruud van Nistelrooy, you might think, oh, well, this is a chance for West Ham to maybe get a result against a team that they're battling with at the bottom of the table. Things have changed a little bit now.
Things have changed. We're talking about West Ham, who are competing to try and get into Europe as well in the previous couple of years as well, winning, of course, with David Moyes. And they're going to now play Leicester, like you say. That bounce it's a bad time to play them. It really is for him. But I always feel like...
We should probably qualify that by saying they didn't get the bounce today, but Ruud van Nistelrooy was in the stands and was only appointed a couple of days ago.
Yes, of course, but there is going to be a reaction. Of course there is going to be. When you have that presence of Ruud van Nistelrooy on the sideline, the players will play and perform. But yeah, Lopetegui now, right, he needs some results. Simple as that, to obviously to stay where he is right now. It's a fantastic club, but that's the sad truth. But when you look at physically, West Ham have always been physically strong. I'll be disappointed if you're looking at excuses for fouls like that, personally.
There's a lot of those games that you'd look at them and say they are winnable. He will certainly need to win them. You don't want to lose too many of those because the pressure will certainly mount.
Bukayo, well done. Great performance overall, but how important were those first 35 minutes? Because it was such a strong start from Arsenal.
Yeah, it was a very, very strong start, and we remember we played similar like this last year, so we knew we wanted to start strong, and we definitely did that.
And before I come into your goal, I want to talk about your assists. You reached 10 assists this season, more than last season. How has it been for you to develop this part of your game?
Well, I'm just constantly looking to improve and create and score goals for this team. And yeah, I'm doing that right now, and I'm enjoying my football. I'm playing with confidence, so I want to continue like this.
How much have you been enjoying? Because, of course, you're an attacking player. Of course, you prefer to score goals. But how much pleasure are you taking from these assists?
Yeah, I'm taking a lot of pleasure. I like to score and create, but the biggest pleasure is winning and getting 3 points on the board. So I'm very happy today.
And talking about assists, it was a nice moment when you gave the ball to Odegaard for his penalty, and then he gave it back to you. How was that moment?
No, it was nice. Martin's a top player. He's been playing so good since he's come back, and he wanted to take the penalty to score today, and I'm more than happy to give him the ball because he always gives me the ball. So we have a good connection, and like I said, let's just keep this form going.
Yes, the connection is on and off the pitch then.
Yeah, on and off the pitch, yeah.
And for your goal, of course, it is a priority for you to score goals, but how have you been feeling with the movements the team has been making and the connections, the link-ups back with Odegaard?
Yeah, I think definitely the last 3 games we've been back to our best, back to our best way of playing. We're fluid, we're dynamic, and you can see the movements, the rotations, everything looks good. So we need to continue like this. You know, we played 3 good games, but we know in this league it's not enough. We have a big game on Wednesday, Manchester United, so we're going to be ready for that and look to do the same thing.
Well done then. You are player of the match. Congratulations, Bukayo.
Thank you very much.
I'd say a very well-deserved player of the match there. So 10 assists, which was mentioned there in the interview, surpassing his tally for last season, which was 9. Will he be happy with the amount of assists he's notching up?
Assists, what does that mean? It's all about goals.
Spoken like a true striker.
All about goals.
But he's contributing.
Of course, yeah. I mean, he's a forward player, so you're judged on goals and assists. He's contributing, you know, his numbers are high. But I'm sure deep down he'd obviously want to score more goals, of course. You want to score more goals than your assists, but if the team's winning and scoring that many goals, then and you're contributing, like I said, then that's the most important thing.
But overall, a quality player, David.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable.
And what you don't see him doing is taking on shots when he knows there's a player in a better position. He always puts the ball across. You know, he's not a greedy.
Not selfish.
He's not always after the goals. You know, and you know, he might be happy with the assist, you know, but he wants goals, but he knows that when he's in the right position, he will square it to a guy in a better position. So that shows you a quality player.
But he seems to be a player, as are all of the players, actually, that seem to be just improving and taking it up a level, up a gear every time we see them play, especially in the last 3 games.
I think Arsenal's been like that for the last few seasons, to be honest. They've had little blips here and there, which is normal throughout the course of the season, but I think in the main, really, you know, we've seen that with Arsenal where on their day, you know, they can score 5 and 6 goals because in the forward areas they've got so much quality. The way the manager wants to play, you know, his attention to detail. You know, from what you hear, you know, he loves coaching. He spends hours and hours in coaching, his set piece coaching. You know, so he ticks all the boxes. So you expect them to be like that.
So, David, what is the key from your experience of maintaining this level? What's the key to continuing that level of success with the games coming thick and fast, with the Premier League schedule relentless over the Christmas period? Because what they want to do is maintain that high standard. Yeah,
and it's keep that momentum going. Hopefully stay away from injuries, you know, and have a full squad to choose from, because that really makes a difference. You know, we're seeing that with Man City, you know, but with Arsenal now, I think the only guy out is Ben White and Tomiyasu as well. You know, so we've still got like a big squad to choose from, you know, and then keep that momentum going. And it's weird because like, they'll come off now off the back of this, you know, big win against West Ham. Straight away, thoughts will go straight towards Man United on Wednesday.
That's key, isn't it? Well, let's have a look back at the goals. We'll take you back to 1-0, Gabriel. This was a set piece, and this was straight off the training pitch.
Yeah, it was really good because it was a funny start. You know, the starting position, they all started at the back post. You can see here. And it's really difficult to pick up, actually. And then there's little blocks, and stuff like that. But, you know, and Gabriel just gets a good header there, just directs it into the far corner. But the starting positions were quite... You don't really see that too.
You look at Timber there, as he gets that block, and then it allows Gabriel to get onto the ball and gets a free header. You know, all that just doesn't happen by chance. That's all planned. And they do a lot of set-piece practice at the training ground.
And look at that. 28 goals from set pieces since the start of last season. And you would think, actually, that teams would find them out a little bit because they're used to them scoring from set pieces, but they're still managing to deliver at such a high level.
The key thing is the quality of the cross that's coming in. You've got Declan knocking, you know, like a cross in with pace with his right foot bending it in. You've got Saka on the other side with his left. And it's really hard to defend, you know, and that's why you're getting a lot of the little flicks. And then with Gabriel coming in, timing it perfectly, it's just a header, you know, it's a proper header on goal and it's in. You know, the goalies don't hardly ever move.
How, as a goalkeeper, would you deal with that?
It's really hard because it's all about reactions, you know, and then there's bodies in front of you, and unless it hits you, you ain't really got a chance because it's so close.
That's where you want, obviously, your defenders to make first contact, because when there's so much movement like that and there's blocks and stuff, I don't think the goalkeeper can do anything.
Yeah, well, we talked about Saka. He provided the assist for that, and then for the second goal, which Trossard fired home. Trossard, he's a good player. He's getting more and more chances to start in this Arsenal side as well.
Yeah, he is, and this is like what I was talking about earlier, you know, like Odegaard finds him there, and Bakar could easily shoot there, but he knows that there's two people in a better position, and he just squares it in. Whether he likes his assists, I'm still not having that properly. You know, he'd rather score, but he's a very intelligent football player.
But you're right, that's an example of what you were saying.
Exactly. He could easily shoot. What would you do, Jermaine?
Probably would have shot. No, but this Arsenal, the way Arsenal playing at the minute, it reminds me of the Invincibles when you had that Thierry Henry, Ashley Cole, Robert Perez. When you know on that, they always vacated that left-hand side of the pitch and very unselfish. You see a lot of the Arsenal goals back then where they'll get into positions. And players just pass it across the goal and just tap it into an empty net. But it's really unselfish. But, I mean, he makes all the right decisions, Saka.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? And then the third goal, well, it was a penalty, and we were happy with the fact that it was given as a penalty.
Yeah. The first one or the second one?
The first one.
First one, yeah. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, he's just, you know, there wasn't a lot of contact on the player, but then when you actually see it slowed down, there's no contact on the ball at all. There's a touch on Saka's left shin, I think it is, and he goes down and that's it, you know, just there, on the left side of his ankle. And yeah, it's a penalty.
Do you know what he's really good at? When he's like a 1v1 specialist, you know, like when he gets 1v1, he commits people, and as soon as they move, he just goes past them so easy, but it was definitely a penalty. And obviously Odegaard here, you always fancy him to score.
Yeah. And then
and it was interesting, Saka giving the ball to Odegaard there, which, well...
I'm sure it's because of that celebration there. It's that celebration there.
The players are too nice these days.
No, you wouldn't have done that, would you?
Giving your goals away.
But what's the reason? Why do you think he did? Is it because Odegaard's just come back from injury? It's his first goal this season? Captain?
No, I think it's because he's either just about to have a baby or not him, obviously. It's his partner.
That's not the first time they've done it.
No.
I remember, was it last season? I think it's not the first time they've done it. And I remember Mikel Arteta coming out and saying it's just something that the players do. If someone fancies the penalty, then...
You've got to trust in your teammates.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Leandro Trossard again now because he was involved in 4-0 as well.
Dave, do you want to talk about this one?
I like this. I love this pass. You know, because it's a quick decision. Look, he has a little look up, first ball pass.
That's amazing.
The defender, like, if you're not going to get it, go with the ball. But then this finish is brilliant because he just lifts it over Fabianski's leg, because Fabianski goes to make a foot save, you know, so he's spreading his leg out and he lifts it. If he hits that along the ground, Fabianski saves that.
Yeah.
He deserves a lot of credit. Great.
He deserves a lot of credit, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the amount of goals that he scored recently and last season.
He's their top goal scorer now.
Top goal scorer. Yeah, I mean, it looks an easy finish, but it's not, because you've got so much time to think about it and you're actually running straight.
Yeah.
So you can't really see the goal, but it's a nice, cool finish.
Going back to what you said about Havertz, at the start it didn't quite click for him, and I remember the fans were really on his case as well. It was a difficult time. What was the difference? What's made it suddenly click for him? He just seems to fit into the team so well now.
I think that's, you know, he's been shown some love as well, you know, just by the fans and by the players and the manager, because the manager kept picking him, and he was getting a lot of stick, and people were always, oh no, Trossard's playing, Havertz is playing, but he's battled through it, you know, and then he's got a goal, then he's got another goal, and now there's there's a song about him and it's brilliant, you know, about being a waste of money, and he scores again. You know, that's can't do all the song, but
Sure.
it's quite naughty.
The interesting part also, when you look at the goal scorers, there were 5 different goal scorers today, Jermaine.
But it's so funny we said that because we spoke before. And I remember having a conversation with Thierry Henry, and he spoke about you need goals from all over the pitch. You know, in the Arsenal teams, when, you know, you get Freddie Ljungberg, 15 goals, Robert Perez, Thierry Henry. So there's goals all over if you want to go and try and achieve anything. And 5 different goal scorers today, if they do that going forward, it'll obviously help.
We still need a striker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that conversation's gone now, right?
Well, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
It'll never go away, you know, because when we have a game where we don't score, you know, sometimes it looks like we really do need one. But can you imagine if we did have one that was scoring goals? What, you know?
Yeah.
Where would that put us?
Exactly. How's everyone doing on the Arsenal group chat then? Everyone absolutely buzzing.
Yep, they're all loving it.
They're all buzzing.
The Invincibles and the Incredibles are all on there.
Invincibles and Incredibles, that's brilliant. OK, well, I mentioned the 5th goal scorer. That was Saka, because it was a penalty given. Fabianski's foul on Gabriel. What did we think of this whole incident? David, I'll come to you on that.
Yeah, it's a hard one for me because it's not a big punch on his head. It's just like a glancing punch. He's only just missed the ball. And I've seen a few of these given recently. I remember Martinez, I don't know if it was for Villa or when he was playing for Argentina, did one like this and he got given. And now there's a little trend, you know, that is so minute. It's a little glance on his head and the referee's giving it straight away. It's not. You
would have been disappointed if that was
yeah,
a goal.
because not only that, as a goalkeeper now, it makes you nervous. The only thing I could say about Fabianski's technique, maybe, is that when he comes out to punch, it's like he's throwing a massive haymaker rather than a short jab at the ball. You know, and if you're just doing a short jab, your hand and your fist haven't got as far to travel. If you watch this, he really like loads it up to go and punch it like over the halfway line, and it just catches the side of Gabriel's head. You know, it's a big punch.
I think even with a cross, I think it's quite high. It's not like it's whipped in. Do you think he even needs to come? I don't think Gabriel can. I don't think, because it's looped in, you can't really generate much power on a header.
Yeah, but it's in the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's got a bit of height. You know, you would expect your goalkeeper to come for that. You know, I think it was the right decision to come for it. Just maybe, you know, a little bit different with the execution of the punch.
OK. Well, no doubt the Arsenal manager is absolutely delighted with his team's performance today. Let's hear from him now, Mikel Arteta.
Mikel, congratulations, back up to second, which is most important, but that was a crazy first half.
Yeah, very much. Obviously, we made it crazy. We played so well, started the game, being so dominant, so efficient in front of goal, and scored 3 very early goals, and then, they scored 1 immediately after our kickoff. We give a free kick away, score another one, then it's game on, you know, and we have to manage the game. I think we did that really well. We created some other big chances in general. You know, the last 2 away games, they were really tricky against Sporting and West Ham, and scored 10 goals. That's a big one.
I know you still got some injuries, particularly for defenders, but in terms of midfield and attack, there was a lovely balance to the team today.
Yeah, it was. Again, obviously, we knew before the game that we were going to make some subs because of the state of certain players. But we had to manage that, and that's why all the players get the opportunity. Jakub came in, Alex came in, did really well as well. Jorginho, I think he was exceptional. Thomas is out, you bring another player, and he delivers what he's done again, so very pleased.
I thought it was very interesting. We all know your corner kick routines and how Gabriel gets space, but Antonio tried to deny him space, but he just wasn't able to pin him down.
Yeah, obviously, you know, every team has his strengths and weaknesses. We try to pick up on there and work on that, and very pleased that we can score again. I think is the last 10 goals, I think, is very different goal scorers in very different ways, and that's good. It's a really positive thing for the team.
And when you have a first half like that and 7 goals scored, as much as it to calm the players down, to relax, it seemed sort of good game management in the second half. It wasn't as crazy.
Yeah, the message is not to relax, is to go for more and sustain and improve. Still certain things that in the first half were a bit sloppy, especially with the direct play. But it's that tendency as well. You feel in control. You feel that there's still a big difference in the scoreline, and probably you are not that efficient, as consistency as we were in the first 30 minutes.
Well, consistency is the key word, isn't it, as you mentioned, David? Because up next they've got Manchester United, so they want to maintain this level of, you know, brilliance that we've just seen just now, because that's on Wednesday as well, isn't it? So it's not long to go.
Yeah, it's a massive game, and these big games are going to keep coming now. And like you say, it's to keep that momentum going. keep it going into the next game, and then let's see what happens, because there's a huge game tomorrow with Liverpool and City. You know, and looking at the league, I don't know whether I want City to win that. You know, because it keeps us closer to the top. But that's what you've got to start looking at now. You know, the last couple of seasons, we've been major contenders to winning the Premier League. You know, and we need to keep that momentum going.
And also because you're a former City man as well.
Well, yeah. Only for a little bit, but I did love my time at City, but I like my time at Arsenal a little bit more.
Of course you did, Dave. But it's interesting because Arsenal are up to second in the table. They are closing the gap on Liverpool, but are relying on Liverpool to drop quite a few points.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Liverpool at the minute, they're flying, playing some good football, you know, winning games. But I think I said before about Arsenal just focusing on them and just winning games. And when you're scoring a lot of goals and you're playing like you're playing, you just can't wait till the next game. And it doesn't really matter who you play against, because you just believe that you go to the next game and you're going to win. And they seem to have that vibe at the minute where they're scoring a lot of goals, everyone's playing well, everyone's contributing. So I could imagine that it doesn't matter who they play against next, they'll believe that they'll just keep winning.
Yeah. Interestingly, we have to reflect on West Ham as well. This is a London derby, let's not forget. It was a massive win for Arsenal today. But West Ham looked like they were coming back into it at one point. But what did you make overall of West Ham's performance, David?
I think they were just bossed by Arsenal. You know, like the early goals really killed them off. Then they got a couple of bites that made it 4-2, and you thought, oh, you know, have they got anything else to go? And then Arsenal got the fifth goal right at the end of the first half, which killed it for Arsenal, I felt. But with West Ham, you look at that and you think, you know, are they better than what they were last season? You know, and is the football better? And I'm not too sure. You know, and I said it at the time. I was like, I can't believe that they're desperate to get rid of David Moyes. Yeah. You know, and it was just a real shock. You know, because they were consistent. They won a European trophy. They were always like top half of the table, and then they go and get rid of him because of a certain style of play, and it's not working just yet.
And Lopetegui is now feeling the pressure because the fans aren't really quite on board with him. They're quite vocal about that.
Yeah, the fans are obviously not going to be happy, but I just feel like the West Ham team, I don't feel like they're dynamic enough. So when you play against teams like the Cities and the Arsenals that keep the ball, that sort of like that intensity, and their players are quite dynamic, they're always going to struggle. So then how do you approach the game? Are you going to sit off? Do you go and press? It's a difficult one, but the West Ham fans are not going to be happy because it's a London derby. You know, you can't concede 5 goals in the first half.
OK. Well, you mentioned that you want City to win tomorrow. Do you think the Arsenal players will be watching tomorrow?
I would imagine so.
Because, interestingly, of course, as we've said, second in the Premier League table, back up in there. They'd just dropped out of the top 4, hadn't they? So it was a massive win for them today. What do you think? Will they want it to be a City win or a Liverpool win tomorrow?
What do you think?
They won't want Liverpool win.
No,
definitely not. You know, either a draw or looking at the table, a win for City.
Yeah.
You know, because they need to pull Liverpool back a little bit.
Great stuff.